Welcome back to The Explainer. Today we're unpacking a framework that promises something, well, practically unheard of these days. We're talking about absolute job security. We're diving into some truly fascinating insights from an author named Zhao Feng in a piece titled The Mystery Behind Unemployment.
The whole thing kicks off with this incredibly bold quote. "I will never be unemployed, even if I live to be 180 years old." I mean, that's an almost impossible claim, right? But it perfectly highlights the author's immense confidence in his personal philosophy. He isn't just handing out your standard run-of-the-mill career advice here. He's proposing a complete paradigm shift in how we view our worth and, really, our work.
So that naturally leads us to the central question we're exploring today. What exactly is the mystery behind absolute job security? Like, what does it actually take to confidently claim that you'll never ever be out of a job, no matter how the economy fluctuates or how the world changes around you? Okay, let's dive into this. To unravel this mystery, we've got a clear roadmap today. We'll look at the unemployment mystery itself, then move into constant creation, selfless contribution, absolute honesty, and finally, we'll wrap up with the ultimate career strategy.
Starting right off with Part 1, the unemployment mystery and what bosses really want. You see, there's this fundamental disconnect in the global job market today. We often look around and think, the world lacks natural resources or open markets or fresh opportunities. But Feng points out something super interesting. If you actually ask entrepreneurs, both the wildly successful ones and the ones who failed, their real shortage isn't jobs or resources. It's capable, reliable, and honest people. The streets might be absolutely bustling with crowds, but finding truly good people, that's incredibly rare.
Which brings us to Part 2, constant creation, the vitality of life.
Now, what's really interesting about this is how Feng approaches it from a deeply philosophical angle. He asks why we can't just live idly, basically doing nothing. And his answer? Well, it's that humans must create. He defines constant creation as the act of generating something out of literally nothing. Because the universe itself was created, finding the joy of life means we have to learn to be creators ourselves. Basically, if you're always creating, you ensure endless work. He describes this creator mindset beautifully, saying they can create something out of nothing, add beauty to the world, capture the moon from the sky, or catch turtles in the ocean depths. I just love that imagery. It really shows just how expansive, ambitious, and imaginative a true creator is. Think about it. If you approach your life with this kind of boundless creative energy, how could you ever possibly be unemployed? And this brilliantly illustrates the point, because Feng didn't just preach this philosophy, he actually lived it. Look at this wild career path. He started out post-graduation as a mechanic repairing drilling rigs. Then he pursued further education and became a teacher at the Geological Bureau. After that, he went abroad to act as a translator in Zimbabwe and ultimately jumped into entrepreneurship, owning stores, bars, and nightclubs in Harare. He was constantly evolving, constantly creating.
But here is where his story takes a really profound turn. So, step 1. In Zimbabwe, he was so successful that making money felt like picking up, quote, endless ocean water, just everywhere. But then came step 2. He experienced a strange, life-altering car accident. And this incident forced step 3, which was shifting his focus entirely from just making money to what he calls building the soul. He realized that without inner growth to match all that external success, a person is eventually going to stumble and lose everything, including their job.
Moving on to Part 3, selfless contribution, the second secret. This whole realization requires moving away from what he calls a foolish mindset. You know the type, haggling over everything, acting overly self-centered, constantly worrying about personal gain. Instead, we need to adopt a wise mindset. This means focusing entirely on serving others and contributing to society without hesitating or worrying about what you might lose. Bosses will literally compete to hire someone like this. Feng even argues that a beggar would want to beg alongside them. That is how magnetic true contribution really is.
To put that into perspective, consider the number 16. That represents the 16 years the author dedicated to building the second home of Lifechanyuan, a community project he poured his absolute soul into. And after 16 years of selfless dedication, without ever worrying about personal gain, he didn't end up poor. Actually, he achieved utmost honor and a genuinely rich life. So the takeaway here is super simple. Wherever you go, whoever you meet, contribute without being stingy. Now for Part 4, absolute honesty, the final pillar.
So the crucial point here is understanding that this might just be the most vital secret of them all: strict, unwavering, absolute honesty. We're talking about strict rules here: keeping every single promise, acting immediately once you speak, keeping agreements even if it costs you everything, never scheming and never seeking to take advantage of someone else. You see, you just can't fool people, especially those with high emotional or spiritual intelligence. They're always going to see right through to your true nature.
He writes, "Honesty surpasses all cunning and strategic calculations, as well as all qualifications and experience." And remember, as a former small boss himself, Zhu Feng knew exactly what employers think. When layoffs came around, he wasn't looking at thick resumes or strategic brilliance. No, he knew exactly who to lay off, who to keep, and who to share the wealth with, based purely on who was fundamentally honest.
Let's move to our final section and see how all of this builds into Part 5, the ultimate career strategy.
When you combine those three pillars, constant creation, selfless contribution, and absolute honesty, you become completely indispensable. As Xu Feng humorously wishes his readers at the end of the piece, "I wish you a lifetime of work, never unemployed even if you live to 800 years old." It's a fun thought, but it really proves that a resilient, lifelong career is built on character, not just finding the right company to work for.
So, as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a question to really think about. Are you just working for a paycheck, jumping from one job to the next? Or are you truly creating, contributing selflessly, and being undeniably honest? Applying these three secrets could completely transform your trajectory. Keep creating, keep contributing, and we'll catch you on the next explainer.